Alrighty, ladies. What time is it?
Ask Yo
Aunteas. Give you a little ad-lib.
Yeah.
I don't be like Auntie Chardonnay. That ain't it.
That ain't it. I know she always be stunting on me and Jerrell.
That
Like,
ain't
no.
it.
Look,
She's like,
she
no.
knows she ain't got no. She knows she ain't got no vocals, and she'll be quick to point out somebody else's non-vocals too.
Oh Lord. All right, this one says, "Hey aunties, my boyfriend and I have been together a little over a year now, and he wants to move in together. I'm just not ready. I enjoy being in my own place, and I've never lived with a boyfriend before, but now he thinks I'm cheating. I'm not, by the way. I have no idea what to do about this whole situation. I could use some advice. Thanks."
Find a new man.
Ooh. That quick?
Well,
I mean, that's trust. That's trust issues.
Thanks for bringing your questions.
So you guys at AYM.com. That's right. At the WB. It's like, well, damn. That was the quickest I see aunties yet.
Would you care to elaborate, Sister Jerrell?
I mean, red flag, trust issues automatically. And if someone is pressing themselves on your space and can't accept your piece, that means there is something about that person that they need to figure out to learn how to respect you and your own relationship too. Yeah, I get, people being in love and wanting to be with their partner, but if you can't respect someone else's space and time, then you truly respect them? And so if their reaction is, instead of listening to why you don't want to, is to then accuse you or manipulate you or to find some other reason other than what you're telling them, then that means they have something they need to figure out. Or there's some their own baggage that they're carrying from another relationship or another time that they need to let go and process before dealing with you. Because you shouldn't be changing up your way, especially if you're not cheating. You shouldn't be having to jump through all these hoops when it comes to that. So that's just me. I'm just saying.
What do you think of Dawon?
I think there's a couple things. I think number one, we've romanticized aspects of relationships without having full-on conversation and realizing the work that goes into making that fantasy a reality.
Yeah.
So so that's number one. Number two, logistically, moving in with somebody is a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work. And I don't know what the situation is, if there's roommates or not roommates, or somebody's living at home with their parents and they're just trying to get out. But in my view, relationships need kind of a gestation period to figure out if y'all like each other before y'all really get into the meat of what cohabitation.
You think a year is long enough?
I think it depends on the two individuals that are involved. I don't think that there's a timeline. It's just
yes.
One of the conversations we had about how long do you date somebody before you have sex with them? It's right. You can't answer that for anyone else.
After dinner.
Right now. But when it comes to moving in, that level of cohabitation sounds great on paper, but not being able. First of all, we still in a damn pandemic. I don't care what anybody say. We still we on the verge of going back on lockdown. So already
got the mask back.
Right, exactly. So there's that whole thing going on. But then also the fact that you've never this community member that wrote in has never lived with another person before. That is a huge adjustment. And something tells me that this notion about, you know, kind of like accusing them, I don't know if it's him or her, or a they, accusing the one that wrote in about cheating. I would suspect that that's probably not the first time that something like that has reared his ugly head over the course of the 1 year that they've been together, that have been a little bit off-putting. And so, not to say that it's warranted or not, but anybody that's in a rush to move in, that, like Auntie Jerrell said, that to me is a red flag. That to me is something that you want to be really, really careful about, because, you know, 99.9% of relationships fail. 99.999% of all relationships fail. More than 50%.
It's like, well, now let me take this thing off.
Well, I'm just look. Right. Let's call a thing a thing. Like I'm of the Judge Judy school.
At the WB.
Like I'm of the Judge Judy school. Like when she is looking at two people that, you know, that are married and they're, you know, like going against a family member, you know, she says to them, more than 50% of marriages fail. So that means you upset with the person that's your blood, and the person that's next to you statistically won't even be next to you in 5 years.
That's a real
so you
statement.
willing to die on a cross for somebody who who more than likely is not going to be there in 5 years' time. So I would just say to, you know, our community member,
be single forever that. Because what's the point?
No. I mean, that's Auntie Hennessy talking. I'm Auntie Chardonnay.
I don't know after that. I don't know after that 99% relationships fail. Girl. I don't know.
Well, 99.5 won't do.
I mean, look. If we tallied up all the people that we were in a relationship with, and who we've ended up with, right? For those of us that have ended up with somebody, and those that aren't, like 99.9%, most of the relationships that you will be in your lifetime are going to fail, because you will ultimately either be by yourself or with that one person. So you're going to have to kiss a whole lot of frogs. And so at the end of the
that makes sense. That 99 girl, right? Okay.
She got scared by the stats.
We may need to leave the 99.5%.
Lord, I'm running trying to make 100. 99.5 won't do.
No. So, you know, like, so to your question, Kerel, about how soon is too soon, you know, for this person, I would assume that there is a level of comfortability that they have to come to terms with before they're willing to have the move-in situation. And quite frankly, maybe it might be a situation where, you know, they might not want to even have them move into their place. Maybe it might work out better for them to find a place together, because there are power dynamics that happen. We all know there are if somebody moves into my house and we get into an argument, we all know where that conversation is going to end up. I know you're not raising your voice in my house. I know you're not, you know, where my name is on the light bill and on the cell phone bill and all the radio bill. And, like there are power dynamics.
Can you pay my bills.
Yeah. What about you, Kerel?
I mean, I will say, whoever sent this in, kudos to you for knowing that you're not ready. Like, I hope you have expressed that to the other person. That's the only maybe caveat I would say, is like, if you're not ready and you haven't fully expressed that can cause a little angst or a little anxiety for the other person, of saying, okay, you're not communicating, you're not giving, like, what's the answer? Like, why aren't you ready? But if you say, I'm just simply not ready and things like that, and you communicate that, so be it. And then the other person can figure out if that's good for them or if it's not good for them. And if it's not good for them, they could say, you know what, this is just not working for me. I feel more comfortable if someone is living with me and building that life together, et cetera, et cetera. We need to go our separate ways, you know? So it is what it is. So, I mean, I hate, like you said, the cheating thing. So it sounds like they're just trying to get their way. And that's kind of their MO when things are going their way, they find a way to make you feel guilty, to make you feel whatever. So that's almost like emotional abuse.
Yeah.
So that's
Can
a
you
red
say
flag.
that just one more time?
Right.
Because
It's definitely emotional abuse because you're trying to use words or a situation to get your way.
Yeah.
And
that's different than gaslighting.
Yes.
That's very different than that's a very real thing that you just said.
And so that's probably the biggest red flag in that situation. But if you're not ready, you're not ready. And express that, and you don't really owe them an explanation of why. You know in your gut that I'm just not there yet, and so be it. And they either got to take it or don't. I agree. Moving in together is a whole lot. There's power dynamics, especially if you moved in with someone that owns a house and they want to use that as the.
I am never moving in with somebody that owns a house. Let me tell you, motherfucker, I am not paying your goddamn mortgage, bitch. My name ain't on that.
You know what?
Not doing it.
But that's conversations that people need to have too. Yeah.
No.
And that's
I was in a relationship. I was in a relationship for 5.5 years with somebody that wanted to buy a house and didn't want me to live there.
Oh, I remember you saying.
Broke up.
I remember you saying that.
It was a wrap because of that.
Yeah.
Like.
So I mean,
you think I'm with you because of money?
Ooh, money. I know. That's what I tell people. I told Corey. I tell whomever. Kerel is okay by himself. Yeah. Kerel's gonna be cool. Yeah. Like Kerel's gonna find a way to be alright, and you consider yourself lucky that you're in my space too. You know, come on now. I don't need your money. I don't need nothing from you. All I need is your love and your time, some ass, some dick, and that's about it. Maybe a warm cooked meal here and there.
But you know, we say often though too, that like relationships are work. And I know this conversation probably will be hard to have.
Oh, for sure.
With your partner, but just make sure that this isn't something that you feel that you need to compromise on, because this is one of those things where you need to make sure that your needs are being met. Yeah, agreed. You know, because it will only create resentment from here.
It's true. That's a true statement.
So make sure that you understand that the work is, and he understands that the work needs to be done. And if it's not,
and if you're ready, and if you're ready to, like, a suggestion would be potentially finding a new place together. Like whether you're renting, I know if you have a house that gets a little harder, but say you're renting, find a new location together. That way it kind of cuts down on that power play potentially. Yeah.
Yeah. But they said they're not ready. I'm just not ready.
But like if you get to a point that you are ready, like, okay, you know what, it's been 2 years, 3, whatever your time frame is, and you're still together.
99.9%.
Find a way to make it right. I know. Make it as mutually beneficial for both of you and less power play as possible. And it's easier said than done. I get it sometimes, and that person might be in a location, you're like, oh, this is a prime locale, but what Dawon said is a real statement that there's probably going to be some power dynamics at hand and some flexing at hand if you move into that person's space.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
I know the person said they're not ready, but we could talk about some of the things that are nice about living with your partner.
Yeah.
You know, like the dick is so much closer, or if you don't, the ass is so much closer. You don't got to travel. You know, you just turn on over and boom.
You don't need MapQuest. You don't need to prep no directions.
Half the bills, girl. Oh, girl, you be saving money in your pocket. Okay, look,
that's a true statement, though.
It's twice as much dishes to clean and twice as much laundry, but there's twice as much help to get that shit done around.
In theory,
too. You know, true. Ooh, unless you got a scrub, then bitch, you on your own.
In theory, because it's never 50-50. It's gonna be 60-40 1 week. It's gonna be 30-70 1 week. 1 week might be 50-50.
But the point being is there will be times where you can kick up your feet and you don't gotta worry about it. Is what I'm saying.
Yes.
You know, you don't got to worry about, you don't have to talk to the people inside your head like I do. You have someone to actually talk to. You know,
see.
like this pandemic still happening. If shit goes sour, guess what? You got an instant roommate with you. You're gonna go through this shit by yourself. You know, come on, y'all help me. Oh, if y'all wear the same size clothes,
I'm not helping you.
Twice the wardrobe too.
You are selling the fantasy.
Hold on, I got a question on that. Hold on, let me write this down now. Community, continue to send your Ask Yo Aunteas to AYA at minorityareport.com or DM us.
I was just trying to help. Maybe they scared.
One other piece of advice.
Maybe they're just scared. That's why they're not ready.
One other piece of advice: you might want to check the squatter laws in your state.
The squatter laws. I'm done.
Because when you get somebody in your house and they are getting mail delivered to your house, it becomes very, very difficult to get. Like,
how long did it take for you and Adam to move in? Like, and I know like all our situations were a little different because we were moving and all that stuff. So
that was a very different situation because I never had that happen before.
We were 1 year.
You guys were okay. You were 1 year.
Yeah.
When so I was dating Adam for 9 months, and we moved. We didn't move together in Chicago. We moved together to a whole different
city and state.
So that was a whole other thing. But we had a whole bunch, prior to that happening, we had a whole bunch of conversations about, what it's going to look like, how we're going to because I was moving for a job. He wasn't going to have a job there. He was going to be freelancing and like it was a whole thing. So,
and even with the communication, did you find that stressful? Like,
yeah,
because like I'm just trying to think, okay, because like it's a real statement that even with the communication and things like that doesn't mean it's not going to be stressful and some ups and downs. And I don't want to paint like a rosy situation because even if things work out, there are still going to be some bullshit you got to go through.
So just as an example, let's talk about finances. Now everybody's different. But the way that I look at finances is we look at your income, we look at my income, we look at the percentage of what that is, and then we split the bills based off of that. Right. I don't believe in 50-50 because if there is a significant difference in pay with what somebody's bringing in, it's disproportionately unfair to the other person to have to split everything right down the middle. Now, that works for me, but it doesn't have to work for everybody. So, and there are certain people that are like, they would say, no matter how much or how little I make, I'm paying half, but like, that's how I like to think. That's a conversation.
Right.
I just feel like people rush into like the fairy tale, of a relationship. It's like, oh, okay, well, we've been dating we've been seeing each other, well, let me rephrase. We've been talking for a little bit. Then we've been seeing each other for a little bit. Okay, now reclaiming each other. So we're dating now. Okay, well, we've been dating now for the last 6 months or whatever. Now the next step in the process is to move in together. And like, that's an expectation. But again, I think what you said, Kerel, I applaud somebody who knows when they're ready for something and when they're not, and not being ready for something and then being forced into it or coerced into it by guilt or other terms. That is an untenable situation that will undoubtedly end up in disaster. And when you move in with each other, think about it. You got two households that you're bringing together. Furniture, like the decor, personal, like style, like all. I know it sounds small, but that shit adds up because if you're a minimalist and they are a hoarder, but you don't find that out until you are living together, you stuck until that lease is up. So
no, that's a real statement. That's a real statement. Yeah, because like Corey and I. And like ours is just complicated too, because like we were in Chicago, we didn't live together in Chicago, but then he got transferred to Texas, and so like we broke up and then did long distance and all this stuff. So it took a few years, but even then, I was like, I'm not moving nowhere for no dude if my career ain't situated and like we have a conversation of what I also need. Like I'm not just going it's just not in my nature just to give up Kerel. Because he in love with some dude. No, that's not how my brain works. So
even like logistics, like, okay, if you got two cars and one person's living in an apartment building, and because you're living in an apartment building, you're dedicated one parking space, right? just that dynamic of, okay, where the fuck am I going to park my car? Okay, I'm going to park it on the street. Well, the street cleaning happens every other day or whatever. So now you have to move your, like, those little things, those nuances of cohabitating start to add up. And so all I'm suggesting is, go into this with a level head. Don't go into this with saying, oh, I'm just so in love that love will make us find a way. No, it won't, bitch.
Go into this with a level head, not a laying head.
Says it does not.
Normally, I'm not the lover on the podcast, but I have to just keep throwing this back in there. There are positives to living with somebody as well,
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I listed off my things of reasons why it's nice.
Absolutely.
I wasn't selling the fantasy. I was just given the other side of the coin. Okay.
But we also know you had the conversation, and I think that's what we're saying. It's like, we know your situation, so we're like, we know they had the conversation and figured this shit out. A lot of people just be jumping into leases and shit, and be setting yourself up for failure. It's like, no, you got to think about this shit, talk about this shit.
That's how we get our questions. That's how we get our questions.
But you're right. Continue to set them though. Continue to be messy.
There'll be some people that will literally break their lease. They will break their lease to move in with somebody, and then they'll get broken up with 3 months later. So now you homeless. And you owe $3,000 because you had to break your lease.
See. Break my lease so I can move because you a bugaboo. Well, quick question, Jerrell. Right. You mentioned sharing wardrobe. Do you share your wardrobe with Fizz and vice versa?
Bitch, damn
You mean
well.
socks?
Okay, thank you. Okay, damn well. That man ain't fitting in none of my clothes.
And I wasn't even trying to be shady, but now that you said it, you're right.
But it's funny though, because he's gotten thicker since
he has gotten thicker.
Here. Which like he's no longer like the European small. He's now the American small medium. And literally. And so when we started dating, back when I was, on my whole tour, I had like all these really cute, like medium clothes that was just, I was saving them because I was hoping I was going to lose these 30 pounds, but a bitch ain't losing these 30 pounds. She just ain't. It ain't happening.
Are you talking about just in your ass? Because
girl, I don't even know where it's at. I don't even know
where it's
at. I can't even
mail some of that over here to me.
Girl, I'm telling you.
Do I get a BBL from Jerrell?
And then look, the feedback would be, that shit don't look natural. It's too much.
Too much.
Oh, you're looking like a bee.
I'm telling you. I've been holding on to these clothes because I've been like, Jerrell, you can do it. You can do it. You can get back in that bitch. Nah. And now that he can fit them, he be like, mine now. And I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Obviously, like I'm 6'2" and Corey's like 5'9", so like height wise, a lot of clothes, maybe a shirt here and there, a sweater here and there, but it does not bother him to wear like the same underwear, and it bothers me. Now I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Like it's a battle that I'm not even gonna fight, but he does not care whatsoever. And in my mind, I'm like, that's kind of disgusting. Even though, like, I don't put my thing and we've done swapped a lot of stuff all in there. But for some reason, I'm like, why are you wearing my underwear?
That's like somebody using your washcloth.
Right?
Like, just no.
Yeah.
There's certain things you don't do.
Do you use this toothbrushes and stuff like that too?
No.
No, me either.
No.
Separate but equal.
Right.
No, that's another reason why I'm glad we are not the same size, because it makes, like you said, because we like the same brand of underwears too. Like we both wear this pair of these underwear because I like these microfibers that just allows you to breathe a lot better, and it feel really good on the skin too. And so
sponsor us.
Hey, so we both like their underwear, but it's even better though because I like briefs. Okay. And he likes boxer briefs. Yeah. So we still don't have, even if we were the same size, we still wouldn't wear the same underwear because the style of underwear that we wear
don't give
are
a
completely
fuck.
different.
Corey don't give a damn. The only one he won't wear, and just because like he doesn't have ass, like I got ass, is like a jock strap. He won't wear those because it won't look the same. Back there, like it might be drooping a little different.
You got a little swing,
right?
A little swing
like,
set.
Shorty swing my way. Double dutcher back there. But yeah, I'm like, girl, like you don't find that disturbing that you just wear my underwear? And he's like, he couldn't give two shits. Does not care. He'll grab the first pair he sees, put them on, and go about his day.
But why is he grabbing a pair of underwear out of your?
He don't
do
care.
You keep your underwear in the same drawers?
Well, no, but like what would happen sometimes if it's like in the same hamper? Even like I've even bought separate hampers over time. But like if he'll just like be kind that day and say, okay, I'll wash his clothes too, and just throw everything in the same wash. He'll just throw them, fold them up, and put them wherever they need to go. He won't even separate them in the drawers. So half the time I'm like, where my underwear at? And look over there, like, he doesn't give a damn. And I'm like,
no, we even got different colored towels. Like we just,
no. Separation of church and state. I know.
Bert and Ernie over here.
Oh man,
don't.
But did you
fishy? No, let me stop.
Rabbit Ducky, you're the one.